This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill. The story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
The game of Monopoly created very early in the 1900s, and the game was created by people back then to educate the population that Monopoly is a winner-take-all kind of game. Everyone knows there's always one winner in Monopoly, and it's supposed to be a reflection of our real world. In other words, capitalist economy, where whoever did the biggest land grab in the beginning worked with the bank's money and rent money to build houses, subdivisions, hotels, condominiums, land. If you own the land and you owned properties on the land, you can create a lot of wealth for yourself. And everyone else is a rent payer to you. So, if you're going to be red-pilled, what Morpheus offers to Keanu Reeves as Neo, where do you want to begin? Well, the first thing that you got to realize is most people cannot really be red-pilled out of the Matrix. What Matrix? Our world. Many people have commented and said, the Matrix movies are a documentary. They're not sci-fi. They're a documentary on planet Earth. But, you really can't take the red pill like Keanu Reeves did and, go through all the sci-fi stuff. It's not going to work that way to be red-pilled out of this real Matrix. To be red-pilled out of this Matrix, it's going to take you a long time. Because why? Well, if I could cut you a check for $1 million, it probably still wouldn't be enough money. What do you mean? Well, to realistically look at it, you still need money, because I can't, bring you out of the Matrix where you don't need money. So don't quit your job. It's very difficult, because you're going to have to live with the Matrix, which is what you live in already, while you learn about it. And it's so much learning. You can't take a red pill and eat it and then know everything about it. But if you want to be red-pilled, you have to take the first step, which is, well, monopoly. Capitalism at its finest. If you look at the various news reports that come out, they always talk about the 1%, but it's not the 1%. Sometimes it's the top 8 billionaires who own as much as the bottom 50% of humanity, which is about 4 billion people. Sometimes it's not 8 people that own that much. Sometimes it's maybe as much as 30. But, generally speaking, it's less than 100 people own as much wealth as the bottom 4 billion on the planet. So, do we have monopoly? Oh yeah, we have a huge monopoly. And what do you want to do about it? Well, what do people do with their money? They buy off politicians. politicians. Which politicians? Well, even in the United States, they had a court ruling that said with their election funding, basically you can spend as much money as you want. And if you're, one of those bazillionaires, you can spend an awful lot of money getting someone elected and then getting them to do what you want. So is it a democracy? No, it's not a democracy. Is it an Yes, it's an oligarchy. Oligarchy is a small number of people who run things. And that's the way things are on planet Earth. But, I can't pull the plug on all the people right now and say, just take your red pill and then everything will be fine. It's much more, well, you have to do your own homework. In other words, you can hear my story and ignore it and go back to work, or you can hear my story, go back to work, and then in your spare time, start reading, start watching YouTubes or Instagrams, and you're going to have so much information, you might just say, screw it, I've only got 75 years to live on this planet. Do I really want to waste my spare time investigating everything? Well, I like to spend my Sundays watching football, and, my other days of the week, I'm busy. I've got so many things to do. Where am I going to find the time? And this is why we still have monopoly and why we still have people who defend the monopoly who are not billionaires. Because they say, well, I heard the story of Jeff Bezos, and he started, and so many other people, Zuckerberg, they started with nothing, and look at them, they're a billionaire. So, that's the American way. Well, so, this is what we're up against, trying to get people to pull out of the monopoly, pull out of supporting the oligarchy. It's very difficult to get people up to speed on everything. And people still have to do their mundane, everyday days. The days go by, and it's so why do we bother? Well, because curiosity, most likely. People, if they're curious, will find the time to investigate things, because in the end their mundane humdrum life isn't very exciting, and inside of everyone there's a hero that wants to be born. So, how does this work? Where do you start? I do this quite a bit on this YouTube channel. I ask a question and then I'm quiet. Sometimes for much longer than that. Why is that? Because I don't have enough words to jam into 2 minutes of talking. So rather than me trying to talk for 2 minutes and I just go quiet. Because I just can't talk for 2 minutes and come up with a quick, easy solution. Where do you want to start? Well, what is the end game if we get rid of capitalism, monopoly, and the matrix? Somebody likes to say heaven on earth. What's the problem with that? No one believes we can have heaven on earth. We have a huge problem. It's called too many humans on the planet, and not enough of me to talk to you all, even if I do use YouTube. So it is a 42,000 lifetime job. I've got to reincarnate 42,000 times and live to be 75 years old in order to make this world not a capitalist monopoly known as the Matrix. So why bother? Do you want to be a hero? It's not really a question. It's most likely, no, I don't want to be a hero. I simply want my paycheck. I want to go home, open a beer, and turn on Netflix. I don't think you can watch The Matrix anymore on television. And video stores have all disappeared. So how are you going to rewatch? It's not about The Matrix. It's only the introduction. What we are talking about is getting involved with what? How can I change things? You can't change things. You can learn all about the way the world runs. In the end, you still have to have a paycheck so you can go to the grocery store and so you can pay your landlord. What's the secret? There are so many secrets it would spin your head around a million times. But, it's easier to crack a beer and flip on Netflix or the football game. And that's what most people are going to do. That's about all I have to tell you for the introduction to red pilling. Even if I give you information, you're going to have what's known as cognitive dissonance. If you take Psychology 101 at any college or university, they're going to tell you about Leon Festinger and cognitive dissonance. He was a social scientist in about the 1950s who came up with cognitive dissonance. And to make a long story short, it's basically once you are brainwashed or conditioned, you are going to have a hard time becoming deprogrammed. Because all the new information that people give you is going to conflict with everything that you learned before, starting when you were very young. That's cognitive dissonance. It's basically everything you're telling me is a lie because I already know something different, and what you're telling me goes against what I already know. So it's open-mindedness and our inability to have an open mind to look at reality. We can do it with movies, for an hour and a half we can what do we do for an hour and a half? Well, we're watching a movie. It's not really affecting my reality. It's entertainment. And when it's over, well, I can forget about it. Insert what? Insert my foot in my mouth. Why? Because I can't not do these stupid tricks that humans make to soften the whole idea that, I'm going to give you something serious. It's unbelievably serious, but if you take it as a serious documentary, you're going to walk away and you're going to be, what just happened to me? So it's more fun to, eat your feet than it is to watch boring documentaries on what is reality. I don't want to watch quantum physicists. I can't understand it. Well, it's true. Even Niels Bohr, one of the original researchers into quantum physics, said, if you're not shocked and appalled by learning about quantum physics, then you didn't learn about quantum physics. So, the scientist found it unbelievable. And I'm not going to explain quantum physics. I'm not Niels Bohr, and he's kind of a bore. What else do I want to tell you?